All right, let's get right into it. We're going to tackle one of the biggest, most mind bending questions of our time, something that really gets to the heart of what it's like to be alive right now: the paradox of progress. And really, it all boils down to this one central question. As all our tech gets smarter and faster and more powerful than ever before, are we actually losing control? Are we losing our grip on the very world that we're creating? So, to really wrap our heads around this, you've got to first appreciate the sheer speed of it all. I mean, the pace of innovation right now, it's just breathtaking. It's nothing like we've ever seen in all of human history, and it's literally changing our world as we speak. I mean, just look at AI. This isn't science fiction anymore, right? We're talking about AI in labs right now, discovering brand new antibiotics, finding treatments for diseases that have haunted us for generations. This is life-saving stuff, and it's happening at a speed we couldn't have even imagined just 10 years ago. And believe me, it gets even wilder. We've got technologies like CRISPR now. Think about that for a second. We can actually edit our genetic code. We can literally go into our own DNA and just snip out a disease that's been passed down through a family. The potential there, it's monumental. And then you've got the really big stuff. We're building quantum computers. These things are designed to tackle problems so complex we used to think they were just unsolvable. This isn't just a small step up, it's a giant leap into a whole new kind of reality. But, every big leap eventually has to come back down to earth. And that's where the story takes a turn. Because behind every single one of these amazing advances, there's a shadow lurking, a hidden cost, a price tag that we're only just starting to read. And this is a perfect example of that two-sided coin. On one side, you've got the beautiful promise of the internet, right? This global village, all of human knowledge at our fingertips. But flip that coin over, and what do you get? You get the peril. Rampant misinformation, things that are designed to drive us apart, to polarize us. It's the exact same tool, holding two totally opposite realities. And look, these aren't just little glitches in the system. These are massive, unforeseen consequences. We're talking about biased algorithms making decisions about loans and prison sentences. We're talking about deepfakes that make it impossible to know what's real. Our privacy is being chipped away bit by bit. And let's not forget the huge environmental cost of all this growth. Every single one of these is a direct result of progress just barreling forward with no one at the wheel. So that really brings the whole dilemma into sharp focus, doesn't it? Are we just optimizing things, making stuff run a little better? Or are we accidentally rewriting the entire operating system for human society in a way that we can't control anymore? And that brings us to the next really crucial point. Because this isn't just happening out there in the world. It's happening in here to us. It really makes you wonder, are we becoming passengers in our own lives instead of the ones driving? Okay, so at the heart of this whole thing is something called the attention economy. It's a really simple but kind of scary idea. Basically, when you're on these platforms we all use every day, your attention, your focus, that's the real product. You're not the customer. You're the product being sold to advertisers. And these systems are brilliantly designed to do one thing: grab your attention and not let go. And this takes a real psychological toll on us. You know that feeling when you've been scrolling and you just feel drained? That's decision fatigue. That low-level anxiety from the constant flood of information, that's real. That feeling of being completely overwhelmed all the time, it's not a bug, it's a feature. And when these systems just keep feeding you what you already believe, that muscle you use for critical thinking, it just starts to get weaker. Now, it's easy to think, okay, this is a 21st century problem. But history actually has a pretty stark warning for us. Turns out, we humans have a long history of falling into what experts call progress traps. You can see the pattern play out over and over. Think about it. The Industrial Revolution. The promise was freedom from hard labor, right? What we got was new kinds of exploitation in factories. Then the Information Age. The promise was knowledge for everyone. What we got was a handful of tech giants with more power than anyone imagined. And now here we are at the start of the AI revolution. The promise is unbelievable efficiency. So you have to ask yourself, what's the trap this time? And that's the really haunting question that just hangs over all of this history. Are all these incredible conveniences, all this amazing efficiency, are they just golden bars on a cage we're building for ourselves? A really comfortable cage, for sure, but it's still a cage. Okay, but look, it's not all doom and gloom. It doesn't have to end this way. the story isn't finished yet. And that brings us to, honestly, the most important part of this whole conversation. How do we take back the wheel? How do we start steering this powerful engine of progress in a direction that actually helps all of us? And if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Progress is not a force of nature. It's not a hurricane or an earthquake that we just have to endure. It's a path that is built, one choice at a time, by people, by companies, by governments. And the best part? If it's made of choices, that means we can make different ones. So, okay, what do those better choices actually look like? Well, there's a pretty clear path forward. First, we have to demand transparency. We need to push for things like ethical AI and real democratic oversight of this tech. Second, we've got to champion digital literacy, basically teaching ourselves and our kids how to think critically so we can see through the noise. And third, we have to start putting our money and support behind innovation that's actually sustainable, that thinks about the long-term well-being of people and the planet. Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to one thing. Progress is going to happen. That's a given. The real question isn't if we move forward, but how. Who gets to write the code? And I don't just mean the computer code. I mean the code for our future. Is it going to be a tiny group of people in a boardroom, or is it going to be all of us? That's the choice we all have to make.